Hello and welcome to AutoToday. My name is Dipayan and you're joining us in the city that never sleeps by night for a very special review. Behind me is the Skoda Kodiaq in its second generation, and it's a completely new car under the skin, although the face might still look familiar. So let's not waste any more time, jump straight to our review and tell you what's new on this new Kodiaq. Now from the front is where this new second generation of the Kodiaq does still look a little bit like its previous generation, but there is enough to set it apart. Now starting with the most noticeable feature, which is the grille, which now gets an illuminated light that runs through the center of it and then runs into the DRL on both sides. Now these are both LED headlamps and they will get a matrix function soon in the future, although this one right now, because of software issues, does not have it. But what I really like and what I think adds so much character to the Kodiaq's front end is of course this sculpted bonnet with those really strong character lines along the front that really add to that muscular appeal. But it's not until you step on the side of the second generation that you really get a sense for how much has changed. Now once you step to the flank, the first thing you're going to notice before you notice that really svelte silhouette is of course the new 18-inch alloy wheels that are aero grade. They get little aero caps on them that make them more aerodynamic, and there's a bit more to that aerodynamic story on the Kodiaq, but we will leave that for now. They look pretty cool. It is a bit polarizing. Some people like it, some people don't. I do like it, and I think it looks set on this L&K variant of the Kodiaq. Now the next thing you're probably going to notice is that the Kodiaq has gotten a whole lot longer. It's gotten 59 millimeters longer, which is almost 6 centimeters longer, which is for a car pretty massive. And that you can see as you move past the C-pillar, the way it sweeps in really compacts the space that it actually takes. This is now a very large car, and it's something that doesn't really translate on video, but when you see the car in person, you're going to get the sense of how large it actually is. But Skoda have done well again to hide the proportions with that sweeping C-line, although that does come at the cost of a little bit of headroom on the third row. But again, we'll get to that when we're on the inside. Now, let's hop to the back and tell you what's changed. Now, I think the defining feature as far as design goes for the second generation of Kodiaq is the design philosophy behind it, which is called Solids United by Skoda. It's the philosophy that they use. The crux, the takeaway for you as a buyer is that means there's a lot of sculpted design form that goes in, opposing lines and sharp creases in the metal, like the shoulder line that Skoda calls the tornado line that runs really high set along the body of the car. Similarly, at the rear, you have a lot of opposing lines that really add to the dimensions while keeping it kind of compact and not making it look as big an SUV that it is. Now, this is something that we may not appreciate here in India, but across the world, I think a nice compact looking rear end really adds to the value of a car and keeps it very clean. And that is something that the Kodiaq does really well. Of course, you get LED lighting, the C-shaped DRL that runs across the length of the tailgate and into another C-shaped DRL on the other side. In all, I think the Kodiaq has what it takes to take on this segment in terms of physical appearance alone. But there's a whole lot more to this car, so let's jump on the inside and tell you exactly what's changed on the second generation that makes it so special. Now on the inside of the Kodiaq is where you're going to find the world of difference. The entire cabin has been redesigned. There's new textures, there's a new design for the dashboard. It's been segregated really well. There's leather upholstery here, there's a textured finish on the center line, and then of course there are plastics that go down. Those plastics are slightly hard plastic, but they're all out of sight and very neatly tucked under all of these contrasting textures that really add to the character of the cabin. Of course, no modern car is complete without a nice big infotainment system, and that of course is there on the Kodiaq with a 13-inch display. It's clean, it's neat, it has a nice UI, it's easy to use, and I really like the way it's positioned on the dash. It's floating, but it's kind of integrated as well. You also get a new instrument cluster, which is also all digital. This one is a 12-inch color screen, and one of the coolest new bits are these customizable dials on the center console. These two can be customizable for three functions, which is your seat cooling, your individual climate control, and your seat warmers. This button can be set to 5 different controls depending on what you want. You just long press it right here and a pop-up pops up on the screen, and then you can select what you like as you like it. And of course, it allows you to select from between driving modes, air volume, temperature, volume for the infotainment, and a whole lot more. Of course, storage, because this is a Skoda, are simply smart. You get a whole lot of super smart bits. There are 2 wireless chargers, both 15 watt fast chargers. There is another really special bit, which is this, which is a little duster to kind of clean your infotainment screen, and it looks really cool. There are 2 cup holders in the center, but if you stretch them out, there are 4. They're hidden behind these really neat tambourine style doors. Of course, you get a pretty sizable storage in your armrest, and overall the cabin of the new Kodiaq looks really cool. I like this 2-spoke steering wheel. It's modern, it's clean, and it is very in line with everything that Skoda is doing right now. Of course, the gear stick has also been changed. Now you have a twist style stick, which we've seen on a whole lot of other cars. But aside from that, I think at the budget that this car is coming at, there's a whole lot on offer, and they're so very comfortable. And on the subject of comfort, you get both powered seats in the front, and very importantly, this time you get massage functions for both front seats, which is something that you will really look forward to. The pneumatic massage, I've tried it out. It works really well. Official pricing for the Kodiaq LNK hasn't been announced yet, but expectations place it just below the recently launched Tiguan R line, which comes in at 48 lakhs. Since the Kodiaq is locally assembled, it is likely to be priced between 45 and 48 lakhs, a compelling sweet spot given the amount of equipment and the cabin flexibility on offer. The Skoda Kodiaq LNK is a rare thing in the Indian SUV space, a 7-seater that prioritizes comfort, refinement, and quiet competence over size for size's sake posturing. Skoda didn't try to reinvent this car. They made all the right updates in all the right places, and in this segment, that's more than enough. Under the hood, the new Kodiaq LNK is powered by the same 2-liter TSI motor, making 201 bhp and 4,500 rpm and 320 Nm of torque from as low as 1500 rpm. It's paired to a 7-speed DSG gearbox and sends power to all 4 wheels. Now this is the same setup you'd find on the Tiguan R line, but with a key difference. The Tiguan is a full CBU import, while the Kodiaq is assembled in India, making it significantly more accessible despite offering nearly identical outputs and a very similar set of features. The power delivery is clean, predictable, and just quick enough to be enjoyable without ever feeling like it's trying too hard. It builds the pace with ease, not aggression. The throttle calibration is excellent and the gear shifts are smooth and well timed. It's tuned for the real world and not lap times, and that's a good thing in this segment. Skoda hasn't tried to make this a corner carver, but it handles really well for its size, and the ride quality strikes a solid balance, composed at high speeds yet forgiving over bumps.